Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are going to wait just a couple minutes for folks to join, and then we'll get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for everyone for joining today. Very excited to talk through the principles of demand planning and forecasting in the retail space. My name is Victor Hart. I'm Senior Account Executive here with LEAFIO based in the US. And on the call with me today is Helen, who is our Product Director for the demand planning and inventory optimization solution. And so what we'll be walking through today is a little bit of background about LEAFIO and our company, some of the clients we work with. Then I'll be handing things over to Helen to talk through the really specific details of our demand planning process that she knows much, much better than I do. So just a little background um, as we go through the process here. So again, Helen, COO and the inventory optimization expert here with LEAFIO. Again, my name is Victor Hart. I'm Senior Account Executive. A little background about LEAFIO. So we've been in business for over 15 years, and we have implemented in hundreds of retail clients all over the globe, everything from clients with 5 to 10 locations up to several thousand locations. And so we've got a full suite that we'll talk about here in just a second. But the software is very, very scalable depending on what the client's actual needs are. And here are just a list of our great clients that we've worked with over the years. And what you'll see is that we've got a lot of experience in very different verticals within the retail space. So we have groceries, supermarket clients, liquor stores, hardware stores, pet stores, everything in between. And so, regardless of the vertical that you work in, our team has experience in that. And we can help leverage the experience we have with these clients to help you optimize your processes and your solutions. Some of our recent wins, these are, again, spread all over the world, but Spar is one of the largest grocery chains in Eastern Europe. Carrefour, you might be familiar with in Western Europe. Mydin is a grocery store based in Southeast Asia. Lent is one of the largest chocolatiers around the world. Philip Morris, etc. So we have a lot of experience in all of these different types of clients and would love to work with you to apply our learnings from there and help you improve your processes. What we offer is a single unified platform for end-to-end merchandising and supply chain management. So just to give you an idea of the different modules within the solution, if we start in the upper right-hand corner here, we have our assortment performance module, which is all about driving our assortment strategy based on the sales that are actually coming in for each individual solution. Uh, so based on what's selling where, what products should we be offering, and then that ties into our shelf efficiency solution, which is about maximizing the use of space within each one of our retail locations. So we know what's selling where, then we need to be able to uh, assign the optimal amount of facings for each one of those products. That then ties into inventory optimization, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So we know what we're selling where, we know how many facings, we then need to know or need to make sure that we have the product available to place it on the shelf accordingly. So inventory optimization is going to take care of our demand forecasting, our replenishment, managing the optimal amount of inventory within each node in our supply chain, be that at the actual retail location, be that at the central distribution center, central warehouse. However your supply chain is structured, we can help accommodate that. We can take into account promotions, so learning how, based on past promotions, what's the price elasticity of products, things like that, so that we can help drive the accuracy and get the forecast more accurate for future promotions. There's a customer loyalty program as well, and a application on your mobile phone so that you can, for example, when planograms get updated from the central merchandising team, get tasks sent down to the store level. So the whole idea here is to, as effectively and efficiently as we can, manage the entire retail process. So with that, I think I'll hand things over to Helen.
Yeah, I will share the screen if you don't mind. Basically the same one. Do you see my screen now with the webinar agenda?
Yes.
Great. So regarding the agenda of our today's conversation, first of all, we are going to talk just a little bit about the departments that are utilizing the forecasts and from the perspective of the sales and operation planning, how the forecast is utilized in terms of different departments and what is influencing, what factors are influencing the accuracy in each specific case. Of course, we are going to talk about just a couple of principles of the S&OP, but in general, and a small spoiler, we're going to have a separate webinar on the topic of the sales and operation planning in details. We're going to talk about the methodological points in terms of building the processes, in terms of enhancing and increasing the efficiency of the S&OP processes in retail. So keep track of our agenda of the upcoming webinars, not to miss it. Of course, we are going to talk deeply about the machine learning models that can be utilized for for covering the tasks of the demand forecasting and not only the demand forecasting, just to talk about how these tasks and problems and issues can be covered with the help of the machine learning technologies. Of course, the factors that are influencing the accuracy of the machine learning models, because really the machine learning is really about the data and accuracy of the data. And based on our experience, success is really heavily dependent on the data and the accuracy of the data. The smart ways to measure the forecasting success. Of course, we will talk about the measurement of the metrics for the forecasting accuracy, the forecasting mistakes. But furthermore, we will talk about the financial metrics, the outcomes that are influencing the financial results of each and every retail company that are dependent on the forecasting accuracy. So let's start. If talking about the departments that are utilizing the forecasts and what kind of forecasts they rely on, we have all the retail company basically that are dependent on the forecast in different ways and manners, but the most dependent departments are the commercial departments, of course. They are operating with the sales forecasts mostly, with which are compared with the sales plans, and that is how the S&OP starts basically. The operational departments, here we're talking about more the demand forecasting, basically the forecasting quantities. The purchasing department heavily dependent on the demand forecasts, and sometimes they rely on the sales forecasts for them to understand and plan their promotional activities properly together with the commercial departments. Logistics and transportation really dependent on the demand forecasts to understand the capacity. And here we're talking about both the capacity of the central warehouse and the capacity of the transportation. Marketing and development department, they really rely on the mostly sales forecasts, as they are taking part in the consideration, let's say, of the promotional activities, if talking about the marketing department, and about the overall planned revenue in terms of the development department, as they're influencing that, of course. So, as I have mentioned, we are going to talk about the principles and methodology of the S&OP, but just to clarify, one of the core principles of the S&OP is the unified forecasts that are cross-checked through all the departments. And when we're using the same approach, when we're using the same understanding of how the forecasts are built, which factors are considered, when the demand forecast and sales forecasts are calculated on the same data, this can help the retail business to have the unified forecasting approach to the general understanding of the future and the plans that are going or not going to happen, let's say. In terms of the practical application of machine learning and in general artificial intelligence, when going back to the LEAFIO platform in general, we are covering currently 4 and even 5. It will be a small spoiler as well from my side. So, of course, we are utilizing the machine learning in terms of the demand forecasting I was talking about previously. So when we are talking about the baseline forecast, the regular demand forecasting, short, mid, and long-term forecast, of course, the promotional demand forecasting, and it was the first step for LEAFIO to utilize the machine learning, as we understood and saw much better results in terms of the forecasting accuracy for the promotional demand forecasting. And currently, we are utilizing the demand forecasting for the out-of-facing calculation that is based basically on the future demand. And when the shelf efficiency solution is calculating the planograms for our customers, the automated facing can be based on the future vision, let's say, rather than on the past sales data. Identifying the promotional analogs. So this is the task that is more connected with the promotional activities as well, but it is more about analysis and understanding how accurate the promotional forecasts are. And we have a separate block of functionality that is covering this analysis and comparison between the actual SKUs that are participating in the future promotional activities and the SKUs that were participating in the past promotional activities with different factors and the combination of them. Clustering of stores to optimize the assortment performance. Basically, yes, this is one of the features of the assortment performance solutions, solution that is based on also on machine learning technologies. and this is the smart approach of clustering of stores in terms of each and every category we're introducing the solution to. And it helps to automate the clustering and understand to which specific clusters do we need to introduce this or that new item based on the specifics of the cluster. And product clustering for sales forecasting in terms of new items, definitely this is a very important feature of the inventory optimization solution that helps to calculate the initial forecast for the new introduced SKUs in case if they don't have any kind of similarities between the existing and new introduced SKUs. When we are talking about the machine learning models, there is a huge hype among the utilizing of AI and machine learning in particular in all the spheres of business and especially in retail. That is why, and we as a company, as practitioners in utilizing of the machine learning technologies for more than 5 years, definitely understand the difference between the traditional or statistical methods of forecasting and machine learning methods. Let's start from the cost of the implementation. As it is really influencing the result. So from the standpoint of the cost, of course, we understand that machine learning technologies are a little bit more expensive than the traditional methods. But on another hand, we understand that the accuracy of the forecast, the adapting to changes in the data, especially, which is the most important for me, is the complex interdependencies between different types of data and different categories that are taken into consideration by machine learning, the scalability, automation, flexibility, and explainability of results. There can be some issues or questions about the explainability of results because we are used to have like a straightforward formula in statistical methods where we clearly understand everything. We see the dependencies, we see and understand the expected results, and it is very visual. But in terms of machine learning, we have special, like another type of approach for visualization of the results and explanation of these results. So that's why here everything is covered as well. At the same time, we understand that what is the measurement, what is the difference in terms of the forecasting accuracy, but just like to understand that it is higher, okay, but how is it really crucial percentage of the forecasting accuracy? And due to our results, we see that usually, of course, it depends on the data, the WMAP is 7% and greater in terms of the statistics model. That means that the forecasting accuracy is at least 7% higher than the traditional or statistical methods or models for forecasting. And it is important to highlight that our approach is in terms of balancing between the cost and efficiency. And we are trying to implement the machine learning and AI technologies where they are supporting and giving greater results if to compare with the used or traditional methods. That's why we are like utilizing these technologies in the spheres I was highlighting before. When we are talking about the models that can be used especially and in particular for demand forecasting now, as the main topic of our today's webinar was the demand forecasting and utilizing machine learning technologies in specifically demand forecasting tasks. Of course, there can be like a range of different models, starting from simple moving average, which of course obviously is not machine learning technology, some kind of ARIMA that are including the regressors, that are not including regressors, some newest models like NBITS, some well-known models like the Facebook Phonet and the decision tree models like random forest, XGBoost, and LightGBM. So there is like a huge variety, of course. There is much bigger quantity of different models that can be used for the demand forecasting purposes, but there is just like some examples of models that can be used for this task. And when it comes to machine learning, here is the range of examples of these specific machine learning models that are used by our company and are utilized for covering of this task with a high level of accuracy. And just now on the biggest quantity of projects, we're using LightGBM due to our own research and due to even international competitions in terms of the forecasting and demand forecasting in particular. The LightGBM model is given the greatest results. So basically it is fast and efficient. When it comes to machine learning, we're talking about big batches of data, big batches of historical data, and not only the accuracy is important here, but accuracy as well. But at the same time, it is extremely important for retail business to have fast results. That's why the speed of the usage of the model is really crucial if we are talking about the task of the demand forecasting. And at the same time, due to the results of the Kaggle competition, the LightGBM model is recognized as one of the leading model for forecasting tasks. When it comes to the factors that are considered and must be considered for the purposes of the demand forecasting, when we are talking about just the regular demand forecasting for different range of times, of course, when we are talking about short-term demand forecasting, the number of factors can be different, so we have additional factors. When we are talking about the long-term forecast, there will be some additional factors, but in general, we are taking into consideration the demand factors, the calendar factors. The most important thing is the price factors or promotional factors, as we are utilizing the price elasticity because it really changes a lot in terms of the demand forecasting, even if we're not talking about the promotional activities. Just the fluctuation of price can be crucial for the demand forecasting. And also taking into consideration the cannibalization of sales that is also connected with the price elasticity. And the SKU characteristics is also considered when we are talking about the demand forecasting for new introduced SKUs. When it comes to the promotional demand forecasting, of course, additionally, we need to consider some other important factors that are really influencing the promotional demand. Of course, this is price, and the price elasticity here is really crucial. Also, the system considers the type of promotional campaign, the type of advertising, the type of the promotional mechanics, the additional layouts, the quantity of locations that are taken into consideration in terms of the promotional campaign, and some other relevant and important factors. Of course, when we are considering the demand forecasting, like regular demand forecasting and promotional demand forecasting, it is worth saying that one more important thing need to be covered here, and it is seasonality. And if talking about the regular seasonality, like different periods of time when we have different demands due to the demand patterns that are influenced by weather, for example, or by some holidays, some other external factors. It is one thing, and usually it is covered. But another thing is high seasonal categories, and it is sometimes very hard to identify these items. I mean, some high spikes of demand during Easter, during Ramadan, for example. And it really depends on the model and how these items, first of all, need to be identified for the future forecast. And secondly, needs to be forecasted based on the special methods of forecasting and special factors that are utilized here. And also, of course, there we have a lot of new introduced SKUs, and this is a factor that is taken into consideration in this case as well. It is the most common question on our meetings during the demonstrations of inventory optimization solution. What is your forecasting accuracy? What is the uplift of the forecasting accuracy we can expect after the project will be implemented? To directly answer the question, we need to understand different angles of the measurement. So, of course, the assessment horizon. So it really, the result of the forecasting accuracy will really differ if we are comparing, for example, the daily level and monthly level. Of course, on the monthly level, we will have much higher forecasting accuracy if to compare it with the actual data. The aggregation level, the higher aggregation level we use for the measuring of the forecasting accuracy, the better results we gain. And the metrics, as we have a range, and it is not a full range for calculation of the forecasting error. Usually we are talking about the bias, WMAP, or MSE, percentage error, but of course the measurements, the criteria how to calculate, and the KPIs, there is a huge list of it. But in general, what we are seeing and what are the benchmarks in terms of different industries, not only in retail, if to compare the weighted MAPE, we see the range of starting from 10 to 25 size of weighted MAPE on the level of the company in general, depending on the horizon, but like in general, it is weekly or monthly result. So it's better to compare the actual results and with the benchmarks, and to understand whether we have some gaps with forecasting, and it can be improved with the help of the latest technologies. As I have mentioned at the very beginning, the financial metrics are really important here as well, because we are considering the project for the implementation of LEAFIO inventory optimization solution, not just like a tool for forecasting or providing some figures for planners, but we rather consider it as a tool that helps to maintain better results in terms of financial efficiency. And we are financially responsible and interested in the improvements of results. We are ROI-oriented company. That is why, except of the forecasting accuracy and measuring the forecasting accuracy, which obviously is an important part inside of the solution, we are more convinced with the sales plan with effect. So whether we are meeting the plan or not, the level of the overstocks and lost sales, inventory turnover, and the percentage of availability. Usually we are keeping track of these indicators and the influence of the forecast on these indicators, but from our experience we see, even if we have very high level of the forecasting accuracy, let's assume that it will be like something 95% of the forecasting accuracy on some level, we still can have bad results in terms of execution. let's say. And as we understand that as we have implemented more than 100 projects, we understand that we need to dive deeper into the processes, not only to stop with the forecasting accuracy, but also to understand how this forecast is utilized and what outcomes, financial results, we are gaining with the usage of the solution. And I think that's it from my side, and I will pass my word to Victor.
Thank you, Helen. Give me 1 second and I will share my screen again. So, Helen talked through a bunch of details about the forecasting process that we leverage within the LEAFIO platform. Let's talk about some of the advantages of that. So, first and foremost, we have industry leading forecasting models and approaches, just like Ellen talked through there a moment ago. So you're getting the best possible processes and logic that can be used. Our technology can process large volumes of data. So, like I mentioned at the start of the call, we have some clients that have thousands of locations. Let's say they're in a supermarket industry where they've got 40,000 SKUs, as an example, on average in each of their locations. And our solution can help um, process all of that data very, very conveniently. And it's consistently being trained and adjusting based on new data that comes in. So our sales patterns are changing, our assortment ranges are changing, and the system is going to consistently adjust to that based on the data that it's being fed automatically, so not requiring a user to adjust their strategy, as an example, as a merchandising manager or something like that. The system is going to pick up on that data automatically. Custom built dashboards. So, one of the benefits of the solution is that, for example, as a supply planner, I don't have to be doing manual calculations in Excel or something like that. I can let the system take care of that for me so I can then focus on more value add tasks, more monitoring of the health of our system overall. And then I can build my own dashboards based on the data that's important to me, because what's important to me in my role might be different than what's important to Helen in her role, etc. And so we can leverage that. Again, we talked about the expertise of our consultants across various retail sectors. So whether you are in grocery, convenience, liquor stores, hardware stores, etc. We have a deep team to help manage your processes based on the challenges that are unique to each one of those sectors. Which again, we can accommodate those different types of clients, and then a very quick integration with your existing systems. So typically, our solution would integrate with an ERP system or point of sale system or what have you. But based on our hundreds of implementations over the years, we've integrated with pretty much any system that's out there. And so it's very, very easy and quick to get those implementations going. One of the things that Helen mentioned is that we're very, very focused on improved financial results. We don't want to implement software just for the purpose of implementing software. We want to help our clients achieve better performance in their business. And in the inventory optimization space, one of the things that we see is typically a really big reduction in our overall inventory levels, with a increase in the availability of product. And so you can see here, We have a big reduction in our lost sales because the product is more available, while at the same time, we're reducing the overall stock, which makes a big difference on the balance sheet for each client. And this is achieved through better and more comprehensive data and the optimization and the uh, the better features that are available as compared to what a typical ERP or point of sale system or what you have might offer. And just to give a real world example, one of our great clients is Nova Supermarkets. They're one of the largest supermarket chains in Europe, and you can see the results that they've achieved. Increase in sales with a big reduction in their overall inventory levels, better inventory turnover rates, and a a much higher availability for each product. And so all of this really comes together well in practice and helps our clients achieve much better bottom line results for their business. So, with that, I wanted to say thank you so much for attending the webinar. Um, you can see the contact information here. So if you're interested in achieving these kinds of results in your business, please reach out to us. We would be very, very happy to help.
Thank you for your attention and have a beautiful day ahead.
Thank you so much, everyone.